All right, good evening and welcome to tonight's council meeting for Tuesday, March 24th. Ask everybody to silence their electronic devices and know that this uh, meeting is being live streamed versus Zoom, via Zoom, sorry. Do our land acknowledgement. And as we gather here today, let us be reminded that the community in which we live, work, and play is situated on traditional, unceded Algonquin First Nation territory. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Anishinaabe people and express our respect and support for their rich history and culture. Could I get a call to order, please?
All members of council are present, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Item number 3 is the approval of the agenda. That we have a recommended motion that the agenda be approved as presented. Could I get a mover? Oh, sorry. Diane?
Yes. We are amending the agenda this evening. So the motion should read that the agenda be approved as amended with the deletion of bylaw 17-2026. The reason for that is because staff found out today that if we increase our school age fees, we will lose local priorities funding that is received through the county. So it's better to take advantage of as much funding through the county as we can without taxing our families.
Sounds like a plan to me. And so that is bylaw number 17-2026 that we're amending it out. Thank you. So we have a recommended motion that the agenda be approved as amended. Could I get a mover? Deputy Mayor Tennant, seconded by Councillor Comley. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest, general nature thereof, can be made now or at any point throughout the meeting by notifying the CAO now, not the clerk. She's off this week. And that moves us to approval of the minutes. Could I get the recommended motion, please?
That the council minutes dated March 10th, 2026 be accepted as presented.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Kavanaugh, seconded by Councillor Hinton. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Item number 6 is the consent report. Could I get the recommended motion?
That council received the consent report dated March 24th, 2026.
Thank you. Could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Kavanaugh, second by Councillor Comley. Any discussion on the items in the consent report? Seeing none, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Moves us along to bylaws. So the first bylaw has been taken out in the amended agenda. That moves us to the second bylaw. Could I get the recommended motion, please?
That bylaw 18-2026 to opt out of provisions of the Line Fences Act be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. Could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Hinton. Any discussion on the Line Fences Act? Didn't know we had it. All in favor? Any opposed? And that is carried. Item number 3 is to remove 1-foot reserves on Morris. The recommended motion, please.
That bylaw 19-2026 to remove 1-foot reserves Morris Street be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. Could I get a mover? Councillor Atkinson and Deputy Mayor Tennant. Any discussion on that item? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. And last but not least, bylaw number 4. Could I get the recommended motion, please?
That bylaw 20-2026 to authorize entering into a transfer payment agreement with the province Community Emergency Preparedness Grant be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sakaspina, seconded by Councillor Kavanaugh. Any discussion on the transfer payment bylaw? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. That does it for bylaws. Moves us along to announcements, of which we have 2 official announcements. One being that the month of April is Parkinson's Awareness Month. And for those that pay attention to such things, Parkinson's is truly kind of taking off and affecting more and more people. And so it's always good where we can bring awareness to Parkinson's and other ailments that are truly kind of picking up in today's day and age. And also April 9th is Vimy Ridge Day. and we want to pay our respects to all those that served and gave us our freedom by participating in Vimy Ridge. We now move to our council for any other items that might be on. Councillor Sekaspina has one or more.
I'd like to remind everybody that the Legion Spring Lunch is on Friday and they still have a few tickets, so just help yourself up to the bar and buy a couple. I really want to thank the Carlton Place Community Lunch at Zion Memorial. That's every Tuesday, 12 to 12:30. And Wednesday, St. James, the men and women that do the hot breakfast from 8 to 10. When we ever lose these lunch ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be up the creek. So thank you very much for what you do.
Let's hope that folks backfill when these folks retire from their volunteering. But good to point those out. Councillor Hinton.
Thank you, Mayor Randall. So it is playoff time in Carleton Place with the Carleton Place Junior Canadians. They won their last and final regular season game in Navan. I took a trek out to Navan to watch the game, which they won, which clinched the last spot. And now they are playing the Rockland, which is #1 in the country rating, 3 losses in a row. The game on Sunday was a jam-packed full house at the arena, which was great to see. These boys really need our encouragement tomorrow night. It'll be game 4. So pack the arena. The Rockland fans are coming out big and they're loud. So I encourage everyone to get to the arena and encourage our team to victory.
I think I should blue
Thank you very much, Councillor Hinton. Yeah, the Rockland Nationals have lost 3 games all year. They are a powerhouse, have the top scorer, I think, in the country, 2 of the top scorers in the country. Carleton Place is in tough, but by all means, get out there and support a lot of local players and just some kids looking to chase their dream. And Councillor Kavanaugh.
Thanks. Just a couple things. Mississippi Muds has Broadway showstoppers from March 27th to 29th. I don't know if there's any tickets left, but check. Oh, there is. Thank you, Councillor Coleman. So check the Muds page for ticket times and to order those. They always put on an excellent show. The 28th, so Saturday, Zion's having a baking books and board game sale from 10 to 2 and crafts for kids. So I encourage you to go out and support them in that fundraising initiative. Like Councillor Sekaspina said, they do incredible things over there with the community lunch, and it's important we go out and help them continue to do that. And just on a personal note, I'm looking ahead, Easter weekend, double digits in sun. Spring is coming, I promise.
I was about to say, and if it doesn't come, can we blame you for not?
You absolutely.
And again, you can always go online, sign up for our CP Scoop and also our CP Social Scoop, which kind of highlights everything that's going on all across our municipality here in Carleton Place for everything that's happening, along with a lot of what our council highlights on a every other week basis. Is there any other announcements from our council members? Seeing none, thank you very much. We'll move along to our confirmatory bylaw. Could I get the recommended motion, please?
That bylaw 21-2026, confirmation of council proceedings for March 24th, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. Could I get a mover? Councillor Comley and seconded by Councillor Kavanaugh. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? And that is carried, which moves us along to adjournment, and the recommended motion is that the meeting be adjourned at 6:09 p.m. Could I get a mover? Councillor Hinton, seconded by Deputy Mayor Tennant. All in favor? We are adjourned. And I just realized that I'm not wearing the mayor's jeans. So I don't have to leave. I know. Yeah. Okay, take 2. Sorry. Now we move along to the Committee of the Whole, which is being run by Deputy Mayor Tennant.
Give everybody a couple minutes to get ready here. Every once in a while, I start too fast. Someone goes, oh, stop. Okay, we're good to go then. Call to order. And the approval of the agenda. Suggested motion that the agenda be accepted as presented. A mover and seconder, please. Councillor Comley, Councillor Kavanaugh, all in favor? Approved. Are there any declarations or conflicts? No one raised their hand. Committee of the Whole minutes from last meeting, suggested motion, the Committee of the Whole minutes dated March 10th, 2026 be accepted as presented. Mover and seconder, please. Mayor Randall, Councillor Hinton. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. We're on to our presentations. Our first presentation is Mariah Caswell, the CEO of Carleton Place Public Library, and the presentation is called Valuing Ontario Libraries Toolkit Results. Mariah, go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you. And hello, and thank you for having me. For everyone at home, my name is Mariah Caswell. I am the CEO of the Carleton Place Public Library, and I'm here today to present our library's results using the Valuing Ontario Libraries Toolkit, or the VOLT. The VOLT creates a standardized method for Ontario's public libraries to calculate their social return on investment and places a dollar value on the social services that your library provides, giving us key details about this council's ROI, or return on investment. In a few minutes, I'm going to be throwing out a lot of numbers at council. And in a few weeks, I'm going to be back in front of council to present our 2025 annual report. Not to bury the lead, but 2025 was one of our strongest years on record, with the highest circulation and programming rates we have ever had. So you're going to be hearing a lot of numbers from me in the very near future. I would also like to quickly note that the numbers I'm providing today are a very high level overview. There's a lot of thought and mathematical formula that go into the figures I'll be presenting. So if anyone is interested in a deep dive into the numbers, I would be happy to do so at your convenience. But out of respect for your time tonight, I thought I'm just going to keep the information very high level. But numbers are not the full pictures. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Public libraries live and die. Actually, we've gone too far. Can you go back? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. There's a lot of, numbers are not the full picture. Public libraries live and die by how their community, it's not
showing you?
Oh, it's not changing. There we go. How's that? This one. This one. Okay.
That's the one. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So public libraries live and die by how their communities feel about them. What matters to library staff, our board, and I'm sure most of the people in this room, is the impact that our library has on this community. Our patrons are effusive when they provide us with feedback, and we are often humbled by the value that our patrons place on us as their community hub. So if you actually, and I just wanted to draw your attention to one of the quotes here from one of our library users. There was a internet outage, and for some miracle, the library didn't lose its internet. So we opened our doors early so that people could work. And one of our users found that she was able to come and bring her laptop, get to work, but she also met someone beside her. She was able to chat with someone beside her. So not only was she contributing to her work and to her finances through library services, but she was also making social connections. So I'll just draw your attention to that one. And if you'll indulge me, I have a very quick video to play. This is, it's under 1 minute long, and it is very cute.
What was your favorite thing? What's been your favorite part about coming here this summer? Have you liked any of the games and things that you've been playing? Did you have fun this summer? What was your very favorite thing that you did when you came to your tutoring sessions this summer?
You're just practicing for the meeting right now. Very good. And what's your name? What are all the types of books that you can shoot with? Did you enjoy coming here this summer? Yeah. And what was your very favorite thing that you did when you were here? Just probably dinner.
So thank you to library users Hannah, Lorelei, Jesse, and Max for telling us about the value that the library brought to them over their summer. They participated in one of our reading programs. It cost each family $15 for one-on-one time with a trained literacy tutor. But what was the value of these kids not participating in the summer slide and keeping up their sharp reading skills? Thank you. Given today's cost pressures, it's important now more than ever to highlight the value of libraries and the benefits that they provide to their communities. However, placing a value on the inherently intangible, human-based services that the library provides is difficult to accomplish. What is the monetary value of an older adult receiving assistance with their mobile device? How do you calculate the impact of free English as a second language courses available at your library? So that's where the Valuing Ontario Library Toolkit comes in. Funded by the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and Gaming, a team of researchers, including the Nordique Institute, Algoma University, and the staff at the Ontario Library Service, have created the toolkit I'm speaking about today. The Volt Toolkit provides a standardized method for libraries to calculate their social return on investment, to calculate the value in dollars of goods and services that are typically offered free of charge. This resource uses the community's profile from Stats Canada, usage statistics, and very granular data about library services. They ask us to count how many chairs we have, how many meeting spaces we have, how many people are using specific collections, how many people are using our Wi-Fi, everything. And they assess this value into 7 distinct service domains. Education, culture, entertainment and leisure, civic engagement, space, economic development, inclusion and well-being, and education. Collectively, these domains make up the library's annual social return on investment, which I will show in just a few slides. These numbers are both an indicator of the library's economic contribution to the health of its community, and it is also a representation of the library's value in measurements that are relevant to our community. So the Volt uses a complicated formula that uses the value of what a library service would cost in the private sector and removes some of that value based on what they calculate as a dead weight, based on various factors, including the library's proximity to a large urban center. The idea being that if there's more choice available to people, the library service may be less valuable. So relevant particularly to this council may be the library's contributions towards 2 strategic priorities that were set at the beginning of this council's term: tourism and events and economic development. Using the toolkit to determine the value of attendance at our leisure programming, the circulation of our fiction and DVD collections, and the number of active library card holders, the toolkit identifies the value of services that the Carleton Place Library provides in the domain of entertainment and leisure to be valued at over $3 million. Similarly, calculating the value of the employees at our library, the funds brought into the community from various grants and donations, and the benefit to economic development in the community is valued at over $800,000. Using the information provided to us with the Volt, we can see that the library is directly assisting the town of Carleton Place in achieving its strategic goals. So finally, what is our library's social return on investment? So in 2025, the library's operating budget was $661,000. So for every $1 invested in the library generates approximately $8.06, or a total social return on investment of 806%. That's a total benefit per resident of $238.58. And I must note that that's benefit per resident with Carleton Place and Beckwith. There's an economic benefit per open hour of $880 and an overall economic benefit to the community of over $5 million. So those are numbers, and those are large numbers, and they're so large to be a bit esoteric. I would like to draw everyone's attention back to what's behind the numbers. So at your library, you're having teens participating in STEM activities. We just had a STEM program happening this weekend. We have new parents connecting at pre-literacy programs. And you know how important it is for young couples and families to get out of the house and meet new people. We have seniors learning how to use their devices. We have a safe place for children to visit after school. We have community newcomers learning, receiving free ESL lessons, and so much more. Social inclusion, intellectual freedom, lifelong learning, access to reliable information, all of these things are supporting a healthy democracy, and they all contribute to a strong community. So thank you, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Thank you very much, Mariah. That was great. Open the floor. Anybody have any questions or comments? Sarah?
Not a question, just a comment that thank you for the presentation. And you didn't mention the past program, which is a personal favorite of mine, where families can come and access free passes to museums and hockey games and theater, and to add on to what you said, especially for young families in this day and age, having such a wealth of free activities and engagement opportunities to connect with each other and meet new people and just have something to do with the kids that doesn't cost $100 is really, really important. And anybody that has a bunch of little kids knows. And so I thank you for all your efforts in that department.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. Had Jeff next, then Dana.
Thanks, Mariah. I think this is the first time I've ever heard the word effusive used in an official report to council before, and I can see why. I don't think I don't think there's any doubt in the value of that a public library adds to the community. It's been obvious from day one since I joined this council, and I think in those like 7.5 years, the demographics of Carleton Place have also changed quite a bit. So the value that, especially the value for young families and the values for folks getting free ASL, like I heard that, and that is absolute gold in terms of monetary return to people. And as those demographics continue to change, I think the library is going to be that social return on investment is only going to grow over time. So thank you for the excellent programming that you provide to the people of Carleton Place and Beckwith. And keep it up. And you should have done this presentation closer to budget time, I think.
Thank you, Jeff. Go ahead, Dana.
Thank you, Mariah. Yes, very interesting report, and we all know what a great benefit the library is to the community. Just a question about this Volt program. Is this something that's new? How often do we do this, and where did this come from?
So this is provided to us by the Ontario Library Service, and it is a relatively new amenity that they're providing to libraries. And every year, their plan is to update the Volt. So there will be an updated Volt that takes into account inflation and some other changes in public library services and that kind of thing. The idea is to do it and track it year over year. We did do an initial dive into our SROI last year. We didn't have an opportunity to present it, but it did go up this year. Yeah.
Great. Mark, then Linda.
Thanks. Thanks, Mariah. I know as the council rep on the library board, we've been doing a lot of work on this over the last year and a half with it. So great to finally have it come to council for everyone to see as well. But just one question. So I know it's voluntary for the libraries to use the Volt report and put in, it's not everybody is using it at this point. I know most of them are, but how does our library compare to other rural Ontario libraries in comparison with what our numbers and our returns are in comparison?
Thank you, Councillor Hinton. So the Volt is not intended to be a point of comparison between libraries. I would say, and most other libraries are not publishing their Volt results in a central location because of that fact. However, I will say just anecdotally that ours is very high in comparison to other communities. I also note that every community is different, and the Volt takes into account everything that we offer and assigns a value to it. Our library tends to offer a lot more leisure programs and activities because that's what's needed in this community. But other libraries might offer more services perhaps for businesses. Now, in Carleton Place, we have a very strong BIA and a very active chamber. The need for services for library services to businesses is not as robust here as it is in other places. So you'll see in some our numbers in some of those 7 domains could be higher, but we focus our efforts in other places. And that's why it's not always directly comparable.
Linda, go ahead.
Thank you, Mariah, for working with me on the Carleton Place Authors Walk. If anybody doesn't know, we've started authors just from Carleton Place a walk, and last year we put up the Hardy Boys, and the Mary Cook's going to go up pretty soon. And I would like to thank you for letting everybody be who they want to be in that library. And as a senior, I thank you for letting me be Barbie 2 years ago and Glinda last year, but I balked at the dinosaurs this year. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Mayor Randall.
Yeah, may as well chime in. I won't add any more. I think especially the users in both Carleton Place and Beckwith, I think that's one of the other benefits is that we have an entire other community that is next door to us, that is a cost-sharing partner in this, and that we have 2 communities that benefit from this wonderful facility and all the great programs and offerings that we do at our library. And it's centrally located, it's easy to access, and it's a great environment. I would suggest that we not compare other situations. Everybody's a little bit different, and that every community's library is probably a treasure to them in some form or fashion. And I think that most people would agree that our local libraries are very important and vital parts of our community, and that we're lucky to have ours. And we thank you for all the hard work and efforts that you put in to ensure that our users are see the benefit of it. I've never seen a monetary number to it, and I'd love to see that $6 million. I don't know where that is or whatever it is, but thank you very much. It's we're very grateful to have the library that we do.
Great, thanks for that. You don't want to compete. We usually come out on top of things. You don't want to compete, but we usually do so well when we do. Any other questions or comments from Mariah? All right, thanks very much for coming. Thanks for the presentation. Next, we have Nikki. Nikki is a Director of Development Services. I can never get that right. And she's going to be doing a statutory public meeting for the Community Improvement Plan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to advance to the next slide, and I'm going to ask that everybody following along at home can see that. Yes, we've got full advancement. Perfect. Thank you. This is our statutory public meeting for an amendment to our community improvement plan. So just like when we do public meetings to make changes to our official plan, we have to do the same process to make changes to our community improvement plan. The purpose of the public meeting tonight is to receive feedback from members of the public. Anybody wishing to provide feedback can do so either by making comment verbally tonight to council or by providing written comment before a decision is made pertaining to the passing of the bylaw. Parties who fail to make comment in the process may forego their right to participate in an OLT hearing and object to any changes that we are making. So residents are encouraged to make sure that if they have comments and want to express an interest in the file, that they do so quite soon. The purpose and effect of the summary of changes that we're making to our community improvement plan is wide ranging, but generally falls into kind of these 4 categories and a general overview of just administrative changes. This policy has been in place now for 4 years. We've had 4 years of runway to test it, work with applicants, find out what's working, what's not working, and now it's time to make an amendment. Originally, this stemmed from direction coming out of some stakeholder engagement that Diane and I conducted last year around creating incentives for affordable housing. The majority of changes that you're going to see as we go through the suite of programs reflect affordable housing, but we did also take the opportunity to increase maximum grant values for accessibility program improvements based on recommendations from our accessibility committee. Excuse me. So program 1. Oh, thanks, Jody. Program 1, we're making minor changes to. So this is our program for exterior changes to businesses across town, or even residential properties as well, to make them more accessible. These include things like wheelchair ramps and the installation of new automatic power doors. Those things are not changing. We're going to continue offering that program. The only change that is being made here is that we're increasing the grant limit from $5,000 to $7,500. Program 2 is the interior version of this program. Same thing, matching grant funding to create accessible improvements for things like washrooms, installing chairlifts, installing elevators. No changes to the eligible costs or eligible properties. The only change is the increase to the grant value. Program 3 is one that we're actually canceling, but it's canceled, but not really canceled. The municipality no longer has to offer a rebate for development charges for affordable housing. This is now something that is guaranteed as a right through the Development Charges Act. So we've removed it from our program because there's already a mechanism for us to rebate those charges. New program 3 is an affordable housing permit-free rebate, where this program previously only provided a building permit fee rebate. We have now expanded it to include all planning and engineering fees associated with the creation of affordable housing. If you're going to provide affordable housing, we will rebate 100% of your development fees associated with the eligible costs listed in the CIP. Program 4 is an affordable housing tax increment equivalent rebate. That one's a mouthful. The idea is that we will rebate the increase prorated to the number of affordable units you have within a development project. The big change that we're making as part of this program is to amend the previous 10-year cap on the program to 15. And the purpose of that 15 years is to actually match a similar program that the county is making use of today. Program 5A is an affordable housing accessory unit construction rebate. This program has been offered and has probably been one of our most successful programs offered to date. It provides for a rebate of fees for construction drawings, studies, permit fees for the creation of accessory dwelling units. The big difference that we are making to this program is to require that anybody creating an ARU and looking for the rebate has to guarantee that it will be affordable going forward. To date, none of our ARUs have been guaranteed affordable, and a couple of them have actually ended up on Airbnb as rentals. So we're trying to close that loophole and make sure that our program is actually meeting a demonstrated need within the community. Program 5B is a brand new program. And again, this mirrors a program that the county is currently offering. It provides a $25,000 construction rebate on the creation of new affordable rental housing within the community. Program 6 is also new. This is a program that came directly out of our consultation with not-for-profit housing providers. They indicated to us that there's a significant amount of upfront costs associated with filing grant applications to create affordable housing. And so this program would provide matching funds up to $10,000 for the production of documents and reports that are necessary to support their applications. Again, it has to be for guaranteed affordable housing units. And it is something that's new and not offered at this point. Program 7 is simply the idea that you may be able to stack these programs on offer. The CIP goes through and lists specifically which combination of the programs that we just talked about may be stacked. Program 8 through 11 are our brownfield programs. We are not proposing any changes to those programs at this point through this amendment. And I just want to stress for council that currently this program is unfunded and it has not been funded in the last 4 years. So no changes there. Programs 12 through 14 pertain to our facade improvement programs. Again, this is another very well utilized program. We have programs that allow for both front facades as well as exterior and rear yard sides of the property. So if you have a rear yard that's visible from a street or a side facade that's also visible from the street, then you can provide or apply for funding as well. The only change that we are making to this program is actually at the request of the Downtown Business Association, which suggested that we amend the boundary that the program applies to. Currently, the boundary only applies to downtown properties as identified within our official plan, which is not concurrent with the boundary of the BIA. The delta on number of properties eligible will be an increase of 79. And there is a boundary map, I believe, not in this presentation, but in the staff report that will come to you at the next council meeting. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
Thank you, Nikki. Just one quick thing. What is affordable housing by definition for the room?
Thank you. That's a great question. And it's one that actually we are including as an administrative amendment to the CIP. Our definition per the CIP is going to be consistent with the Development Charges Act, which is also the same definition that the county uses as our service provider. The county is the agency that collects data from the province of Ontario and provides that to us to establish what those rates are. I can follow up in an email to council and provide you what our current rates are. It's both affordable housing to purchase as well as rental units on a per bedroom basis.
Thank you. Should we go to council first or should we look for comments from the gallery first? Does it matter? No? Okay, let's go to the council first. Linda, go ahead.
Thank you, Nikki, for this. I'm very impressed with this. Now, initially, a few years ago, affordable housing was $1,760 a unit in Carleton Place for rental. What is it now?
Thank you. Through the chair, I'll follow up with that for you. Again, it's set based on the number of bedrooms in a unit. So a bachelor unit will rent for less than a 4-bedroom. But I can provide those numbers to council for your benefit.
Any other questions or comments from council? Mayor Randall?
Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. So the accessibility grants are open to anybody, individuals, businesses, developers, whoever wants to fulfill that. Thank you. And when we're talking about affordable, is there a timeline on this? Like somebody utilizes the funding, do they have to keep that unit affordable for a duration?
Yes, they're subject to executing an agreement with the municipality that guarantees those units will be affordable for a set period. I can go back and check. I don't think the CIP policy itself speaks to the tenure, with the exception of the TIER, the tax statement, which does specify 15 years. I think otherwise, the intent is to leave it for implementation through the agreement that has to be executed with the municipality, at which point we would set the term at that time.
So just to follow up on that one, so we don't have a specific, like everybody's swiped with the same brush. It's based on whatever agreement we have with that individual.
That's correct.
Do we see that being an issue, that we're not being like prescriptive to 20 years or 15 years and everybody knows that going in? I'm that out of curiosity.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's one Diane and I can kind of talk about more. Our standard for discussions to date has always been 20 years less a day. That seems to also be industry standard, although we are hearing that CMHC has reduced it to 10. We can do a little bit of research and I can bring you back an answer in the staff report.
Thank you. And if I can just add one, I have 2 more questions, but one on that one. Oh, God, just escaped me. Oh, no. When you come back for council, because I don't know if you have this, do we have the ability or what ability do we have if someone 5 years into that decides to not make that unit affordable anymore? What's our way to get restitution for the funding that we provided?
For sure. So again, that would be through the contract terms executed in the lending agreement or rebate agreement. Typically, you work in some sort of payment back. So if you meet 15 years of the 20-year program, then you rebate the delta. For a lot of these programs, we're talking about grants of $5,000, $25,000. So at the end of the day, it may not ultimately result in a great rebate, but that would be something that would be worked out in the clauses of the loan agreement or rebate agreement.
Thank you. Sorry, I don't normally have this many questions of you in these things, but you made a lot of points that brought up questions in my mind. Do we have a maximum amount per year that we will fund to the CIP? And then just so that we don't have this back and forth, the expansion of the BIA, there's 79 other units in the BIA that are businesses that we aren't currently capturing. Is that what you're saying? Like there's 79 buildings in the downtown core or in the BIA core that we're not capturing currently?
So to your first question, yes, council sets your absolute limit on the programs and the funding that is provided year to year for that. Ultimately on the on the facade improvement program, my draft staff report, does already talk about the expected increase that may result from the expansion of the boundary. Despite being one of our most well-used programs, every year we do have unused or unspent funds in that reserve. It's also partially funded by the BIA. I think at some point as the program builds momentum, we may need to come to council and request for additional funds there, but I don't see that happening immediately upon the boundary expansion. It would be great if we did. There's lots of businesses out there that could probably benefit from the facade improvement program. But I don't expect that to happen immediately.
So what you're saying is next meeting is going to be a long meeting.
Mr. Chair, I am hoping that I have a robust staff report for you that you will all diligently read with all of the answers to your questions.
We always diligently read them. Any other questions or comments from council? Are there any comments from the gallery? Yeah, if you'd like to make a comment, now's the time. Please come to the mic though.
This is gonna be over dramatic. So Nikki, do we have a chance to email our questions in? Because I hadn't prepared anything for tonight, but I'd like to comment.
That's great. Thank you. No, it's you're on record. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from anyone before we move on? I don't see any hands. Thank you, Nikki. Moving on to the report section. Report A with Guy Bourgon, our Director of Public Works, Wastewater 2025 Annual Report. Suggested motion that council receive the Carleton Place Wastewater System 2025 Annual Report as information and that the report be made available to the public via the town's website. A mover and seconder, please. Councillor Atkinson, Councillor Hinton, and go ahead, Guy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Similar to the water and stormwater reports that I brought forward at the last council meeting, this is a regulatory requirement by the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks that we put this before council to get you to receive it, as well as we make it available to the public so that they have an opportunity to review it. I won't go through all the details of the report. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. We did have some non-conformances with the effluent quality based on equipment failures that we experienced over the past year. This is due to aging equipment that we are trying to extend. As you all are aware, we are going through a massive renovation over at the wastewater treatment plant, and these pieces of equipment will then be mothballed and we won't be using them anymore, and we will have a much better effluent quality regimen in place so that we will be much lower on these parameters in the future. But we will limp through for the time being and trying to do patchwork on the existing equipment and make it last. With that, I will take any questions that council may have.
Great, thank you, Guy. Anyone have any questions about the report on our effluent? I think you're done. Thanks, Guy. Oh, sorry. All in favor of the suggested motion? And that's carried. Item B, 2025 council remuneration with Teresa McConkey, the treasurer, suggested motion that council accepts the 2025 council remuneration report as information. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Sakaspina, Councillor Conley. Go ahead, Teresa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is an annual statutory report that I have to present to you by March 31st every year. There's just a 2 points I want to make that stand out as differences to last year. One, or that I would like to note, I guess, one is the benefit column. We used to prorate it just overall, all 7 of you equally. Back when we based it on actuals, so now it's a premium. It's based on whether you're family or single. It's not private information. It's not risking your privacy anymore. So we've done that. The other piece to it, though, is the large increase to benefits from last year to this year. And if you'll recall, during the budget process, we had a large increase to benefits all across the board. So this is reflective of that and nothing more. I guess that's it.
Great. Any questions for Teresa about that? Seeing none, all in favor of the suggested motion? And that's carried. Thank you for that. Moving on to the next one. 1 second. I lost my mouse. Item C, statement of development charges. Suggested motion that council accepts 2025 annual development charges report as information. A mover and seconder, please. Mayor Randall and Councillor Hinton. Go ahead, Teresa.
So again, this is an annual statutory report that I have to present to you by March 31st every year. However, this report has changed drastically from past years. The first chart in the treasurer's statement is pretty similar. It's just showing the fund balance in and out for the year, but then there's several other requirements now. I have to make a statement of credit holder transactions, which we had none of, so there's none in here. Part of the new requirements under the Development Charges Act is we have to allocate 60% of water, wastewater, and road balances. So there's 2 new charts for each of those services where I show you, of course, we more than allocated our water and wastewater funds due to the treatment plant expansions. We didn't quite make our allocation for the roads projects, but we're certainly going to make up for it in the 2026 budget. And then we have to provide a description of what each service means. So the final chart there is that.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you, Teresa. And moving on to item D, Inverness cost sharing agreement, Carlton Street servicing with Mike Walker, Development Review Officer. Give me a second with the suggested motion. It's a long one. That council authorize staff to enter into a cost sharing agreement with Inverness Homes and that council pass a connection fee bylaw pursuant to Part 8, Section 326 of the Municipal Act 2001 to recover the applicable share of the joint cost from each benefiting property owner, and that the bylaw be registered on title of benefiting properties and posted on the town's website for public access as outlined in the report by the Development Review Officer dated March 24, 2026, and that all other applicable fees, charges, development charge bylaws currently in effect with the town to continue to apply to the benefiting lands in addition to the requirements set out in the connection fee bylaw. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Atkinson, Councillor Hinton. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
So my report relates to a development located at 175 Town Line Road, where a developer, Inverness Homes, extended municipal water and sanitary sewer infrastructure along Carlton Street to service 2 new townhome buildings. Since this extension now allows properties currently on well and septic systems and 1 vacant property the option to connect municipal services, a cost sharing agreement has been proposed. If those property owners choose to connect, they would pay a connection fee representing their fair share of infrastructure costs calculated based on property frontage. The town's role would simply be to administer the connection fee bylaw and transfer appropriate collected fees to the developer. There are no direct financial implications to the town, and property owners are not required to connect at this time. If the town incurs any costs while administering the transfer of fees to Inverness, those costs would be deducted from the funds being transferred. So staff are recommending that council approve the execution of the cost sharing agreement with Inverness Homes and adopt the connection fee bylaw.
Great, thanks for that. Any questions from council? Mayor Randall.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Do we have any of these bylaws in place currently throughout the municipality? And are there any issues with this type of bylaw that like we've had in the past?
Yeah, we have several actually. We just went through one a couple of years ago for Brazil, a very similar situation where they serviced a subdivision, there was a vacant lot, and then that property owner one time wanted to connect, and we had to administer, we had to collect fees and transfer to Brazil. I guess the one issue that we found is we didn't have a termination date within the cost sharing agreement, so we had to try and track down a beneficiary that had passed, and it just got quite cumbersome. So that's why we've included going forward an actual termination date, 25 years.
Thank you very much.
And any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor of the suggested motion? That's carried. Thanks, Mike. All right, that's it for reports. We're on to 7, committee board and external organization updates. Suggested motion, the following minutes be received. In the EAC minutes from March 2nd, 2026. Could I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Atkinson, seconded by Councillor Conley. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Information listing. Suggested motion, the information listing dated March 24th, 2026 be received. A mover and seconder, please. Mark and Linda. Any comments on the information listing? Mayor Randall.
No, I don't have to say something, but I think it is important that we point out that within the Integrity Commissioner report that the costs associated to our taxpayers for advice and also for complaints totaled $141.25. And the $141.25 was advice that a council member or multiple council members reached out to Tony Fleming to inquire about, and also there's $0 as far as complaints, and it just goes to speak to the way we handle our integrity, yeah, obviously, and the way we handle ourselves with each other, with the community, with our staff. We try to be respectful as best we can at all costs, and expect that of ourselves, and it shows in this 4 years in that we're moving along and just doing the business without any of the drama that goes along with it, so in some instances. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? It's nice to be in a municipality that doesn't have to worry about these things. That's great. All in favor of the suggested motion? That's carried. We are going to move into closed session to deal with a community planning matter. Suggested motion that committee move into closed session at 6:54 p.m. to discuss a matter subject to Municipal Act Section 239, item 239-2K, a position plan or procedure criteria or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board for item 1, and that the following persons be permitted to participate in the meeting: Diane Smithson, CAO, Nikki Dwyer, Director of Development Services. A suggested motion that the committee, what's later, mover and seconder to move into close. Linda and Sarah, all in favor of moving into close? And that's carried.
Because we're gonna run for
without my camera. The closed session was for information purposes.
That's great. Thank you. I should have my mic on. So we received the rise and report, and now we're at adjournment. Suggested motion that the meeting be adjourned at 7:26 p.m. Councillor Atkinson, Councillor Hinton, any discussion? All in favor? We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.